At the Vado Speedway, Drew Cassidy is driving in her first race of the night. Nights like these have been common for her since her racing debut back in 2018, but her passion can be traced back to high school.
I always wanted to learn more about cars. Like when I was young, I didn't grow up from a family that even knew how to change the oil, so I took like automotive classes at night when I was in high school. And then when I was in engineering school, I joined Mini Baja, and then from there it just took off.
Drew endured the loss of her father while in college. It was then that she found the Mini Baja competition. Mini Baja is an international engineering competition where 100 contestants build an off-road vehicle to compete in a series of competitions.
So you test the design of your car, and then you go through dynamic events where you'll see how fast your car is, you'll go through maneuverability to see how tight it can turn and how fast, and you'll go up a hill climb, and then at the last part of it, you do an endurance race, so it's 4 hours, 100 teams on the track.
After driving for the maneuverability and endurance competitions, Drew became hooked on racing, and Mini Baja advisor Ken Rubel saw that she had what it takes to continue racing.
We got back that year, and she goes, "I want to drive a real race car now." And so at that time, all I had was a mini sprint, which is kind of a miniature version of a sprint car. And I told her, it's not a beginner's car, but if you want to give it a try, we'll see how it goes. And she goes out and wins a points championship that year and just kind of took off from there.
This is not Ken's first experience with racing. He has raced everything from motocross to drag racers.
My senior year of high school, a good friend of mine raced motocross, so I started with motocross. And then I did that for a couple years, and then I raced drag cars out at the drag strip, and then from there we moved to circle track racing, and I did that for probably about 5 or 6 years. And then when I got out of racing, I got out totally. I couldn't even go watch a race for almost 20 years.
Drew doesn't just work on race cars. She also works at the White Sands rocket testing facility, helping test rockets and providing propellant for the tests. But she says working in two male-dominated fields has come with its own challenges.
Like you kind of get second guessed. Like I remember when I took automotive classes at night, I would show up, and I was young, and I looked even younger than what I was. And they'd be like, "Oh, who are you here for? Like, is your dad in this class?" And so you never get taken seriously at first.
Winning races is not the only thing Drew says she wants to accomplish at Vado. She also wants to help inspire young girls to get involved in STEM, and she does this in unique ways.
We have an all-female pit crew that's very young, but so it's exciting to. I think it's an instant connection when you do meet girls that like the same thing, because it is more rare.
One of those pit crew members is Kaylin Hudson, who even got her own race car after working with Drew.
My little cousin, she wanted to come see her favorite driver, which is Drew. And we helped out, we torqued our car, we did air pressure, we fueled the car and everything. After the night was over, I asked her if I could be her permanent pit crew.
Drew and her team competed in the final race of the season. After having her pit crew get everything ready, she hit the track with her mentor Ken watching on.
It's the best feeling in the world. It's honestly like watching my own daughter out there racing. She's so inspiring. She's always trying. I remember one night she was so sick she could barely walk, but she still came out there and drove that race car.
It's a lot of fun to work and get your car ready and then see it perform, and then the adrenaline rush when you're on the track. It's like time stops.
Tonight in the pure stock class, which is the class she actually ran this tire with, is honestly the best race she's ever raced in her whole life. She finished 6th. It doesn't sound very impressive, but when you consider the top 5 cars have spent in probably excess of $20,000 on their car. We basically have a $500 Mustang out here with a roll cage in it, pure stock. It's a pretty phenomenal finish. I honestly don't know how she can drive that car as fast as she drives it.
Thank you.
After every race, Drew and her pit crew head into the stands to hand out candy to the children that were there to watch.
I just want the possibility to be there, so not to be written off. I think that, as we're kids, like if you're like a boy, you get handed Legos, and if you're a girl, you get handed Barbies, and there's nothing wrong with Barbies, but like that there's opportunity for everyone.
Drew and her team say that they are hopeful they can complete a new car by next season, as they compete to win and continue this inspiring career.
That's awesome.
For KRWG Public Media, this is Noah Race.